Welcome to the Women Writing Podcast. I'm your book coach, Lisa Kovalea. I'm a certified fiction and memoir book coach and the author of Like Water for Weary Souls, Sisters Winter War, and Surviving Struthof, and the Hygge House Nordic Cozy Mystery Series. As a Finnish Canadian, I also love my coffee. Take a coffee break with us as we chat about all things writerly with authors and publishing industry professionals. And don't forget to sign up for my Women Writing newsletter on Substack and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more great content. Shamayne Olivia is an author, speaker, and facilitator whose journey of reclaiming her authentic self has defined her life's work. The eldest of 4 children, she carried adult responsibilities far too young, navigating the emotional needs of both siblings and parents. Refusing to be defined by these patterns, she chose a path of healing and transformation, breaking the generational cycles and guiding others to do the same with courage, hope, and resilience. She discovered profound insights and revelations that laid the groundwork for her business, Shoes That Fit Her Soul. The resources designed to help others reclaim their voice, rewrite their stories, and step boldly into lives of purpose, including her teaching memoir, Shoes That Fit Her Soul, as well as the Shoes That Fit Her Soul workbook, digital workbook, and workshop. Shamayne lives in the Texas Hill Country near Austin with her generously supportive husband, Craig, and their 2 affectionate cats, Wrigley and Ivy. Hi, Shamayne. How are you?
Hi, doing great, Lisa. How are you?
I'm so good. Thank you so much for doing this. We were just talking a little bit about the weather, as one does. Tell us where you are and what's happening with your climate at the moment.
Well,
in June.
I'm in Austin, Texas, and as I'm looking out my window, I have a big window over here on the to my left. It is humid. It is so humid right now. Summers, when we get a little bit of rain and back and forth with the heat, and it just causes a sauna here.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And I too was saying that I'm in Northern Ontario and we had the most humid day yesterday as well. So I feel feel the pain, but also hopefully you're nice and cool and inside and enjoying.
Yes, we make you pretty much have to stay inside during these times. But I look out my window and there's people jogging through the neighborhood. I'm like, are you nuts?
Wow. Good for them. I mean, they
can
exactly.
I'm like,
go ahead.
I walked to the mailbox this morning. That was my workout.
Yeah, that's right. That's where you get a little fresh air. It's good.
Yeah.
So I'm so delighted to chat with you because you have been doing some pretty incredible things. And I know that you have a book that just came out recently called Shoes That Fit Her Soul. But before we get into that, can we talk a little bit about where this came from? How did you come to writing? Were you always writing and always wanted to write, or what was that like for you?
Those are easy questions because no, I did not think I would ever write anything. I was more of the grammar type person in school. I was great at grammar and spelling, but writing, I just didn't think I had the creativity. And so it never appealed to me, and I never thought I would write a book. Actually, my husband is the one who told me that he saw me signing books one day, and I'm like, what? It wasn't even on my list. I know. And the reason is because of all the stories I have about my life and about my transformation from being a wounded person growing up in a dysfunctional family and then losing my first husband. And there were just so many things that happened in my life. And I had all these stories, and he just pictured me writing a book about it. And that's what happened. I ended up writing a book about those stories. Because I was journaling things to kind of go through the healing process that many of us do. You journal and put your thoughts down so they're not stuck in your head. But really what prompted me, or what kind of the catalyst for all this, was I had a dream. I wasn't thinking about a book. I was thinking about what can I do to help other women who may be going through similar circumstances. And it was around midlife. You know, when we get to midlife, there seem to be a lot of pivotal emotional transitions. We're going through all kinds of stuff. And then when you put on top of the things that like menopause, perimenopause, the things that we're naturally going through, and then you add to that hard choices that some of us are making. Like some of us are having trouble in our marriages, or we have careers that we're like, do I really want to stay with this career? Or,
Right.
and then we also deal with the layoffs and things that are happening. There's so many
Mhm.
things happening, and it usually
Yeah.
occurs in that midlife time. So my goal in the beginning was, okay, I've been through this. I'm going through some of it still. How can I help other women? How can we support each other?
Oh, I love
And
that.
I wanted to come up with some uh, program or something that would really inspire women and to know that they're not alone. But I had ideas, but I just couldn't get the breakthrough. I didn't know what I was going
Mhm.
to do. And so, just quickly, we went on a road trip in 2016. And I came back from that because I needed to get away from the pressures of
Yes.
everything. I
Hmm.
had lost my first husband to in an accident in
Hmm.
2008. We had divorced, and so many things that had changed for me. And so it was like, let's back up. I need to get away from some things and just rest. And we did. We went to Moab, Utah, which is a beautiful location with national park, Arches National Park. And when we got back after a week, and we did it by road trip. I think driving is an excellent way to kind of get your thoughts together and just, especially if you're just looking out the window and just things happen when you do that. And when I got back, I had a dream, Lisa. It was unexpected, but I do have dreams. I'm one of those who does dream and remember them. But this dream was so vivid, and I knew it had a message for me. And what it was about was I was going for a walk at work. Had a full-time career at that time in the corporate, and a friend had asked to go if I wanted to walk. And so this is in my dream. It also happened in real life, but this was in my
Yes.
dream. So we go through the building and, all the things that happen in dreams. You see people from your past and you see things and, and I got down to the lobby and we're about to go out. Well, we walked out the front door of our big building, and I wasn't wearing my shoes. I only had on a pair of
Oh,
socks. And
yeah.
I looked, in my dream, I remember looking at my feet and thinking, how do you walk through a whole building in your socks and not realize you're not wearing your shoes? So I woke up I turned around to go get my shoes and I woke up.
Mm.
And I'm still asking myself the question, that was so funny. You forgot your shoes. How do you
Yeah.
forget the shoes to go for a walk? And I thought on it for a little bit, but when I got up, I went into the bathroom and I was standing in front of the mirror washing my face and hands, and I felt a warmth come over me. And when that warmth came over me, I heard the words, "You're going to teach women to find their shoes for their journey."
Oh,
And I thought, oh, and I got really emotional because I thought, oh my gosh, that's what I've been searching for. That's the answer I've been seeking. I didn't know what it meant,
mm.
but it meant something. And I teared up and I woke up I'm married again. And Craig is my second husband. And Craig and I have this really good connection about our dreams and stuff. So I woke him up and I said, I know what I'm going to do. And he's like, are you okay? And I said, yes, I know what I'm going to do. And it was all of a sudden the shoe broke into these eight components. And that's how I wrote my book. I used those eight components of the shoe to
Right.
align with the elements within ourselves that we need on our journey.
I love
And
it. It's
that's
so
how it all started.
beautiful. That's how it all started. I mean, there's so many interesting things happening there that your husband saw that he imagined that you were, going to sign books, that this was somewhere. And it's interesting that sometimes other people can see in us what we're not seeing yet, or that we're not ready to see yet, or that we hadn't considered yet, or whatever it is. But they can kind of
Right,
see like, oh, like you definitely should. Like, and I'm guilty of that. I'm telling people that like you should X, Y, or Z, but they're like,
right.
what? Like they're not ready to hear it. But then when you had that dream, it kind of like brings it all together. It cements it like, oh, and I really
I've had
believe
a
that dreams
purpose.
can tell us things, right? It's our subconscious
Yeah.
coming through and telling us
Oh,
those things.
absolutely.
Yeah. And I've had several other authors tell me about dreams that they had that resulted in like a real life-changing event because they acted on it. You could equally have woken up and been like, oh, that was an interesting dream and left it, but you
Right.
heard it, you were ready for the message, right?
I was ready for the message and I felt it.
Yes.
You know, when that message came through, it wasn't just a thought. It was
Yes.
something, I felt like it was a mission for me. I
Yes.
thought, oh my gosh, this is what I have to do.
Right.
How am I going to do it? I don't know, but I know this is what I'm meant to do. And now I've got to figure out the rest.
Yeah.
And so I mean that was over that dream was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it took a long time, one, because I was working full time, which we often do. We
Right.
have
You
two
don't just
careers,
quit your job the next day.
right? So it took a while and but the reward of knowing that I have a purpose at last. I think I was that was the other thing. I was kind of, floundering around feeling like I had no purpose in life except my 9 to 5 job. And that
Hmm.
was not fulfilling,
Yeah.
as it should be. And so that coming along, it was like, okay, now I have something I can work on and work towards.
Yes.
And that's what I did. And I took my time. I didn't want to be, I didn't want to have the pressure on myself
Right.
to
Yeah.
finish it by a certain time and get it
Right.
done. But I ended up with a workbook out of this. We created the workbook and it's a
Yeah.
companion workbook for the book.
Right.
So at the end of each chapter, I let the reader, if they want to dive deeper, the workbook will help them go deeper into that topic. And
Yeah.
the
Sweet.
let me know if you want. I can
Yeah.
explain a little bit of the shoe
I would.
framework.
Yes, I love the idea. So when I work with memoir writers, I often talk about structure and finding that thing that resonates with their topic and that it is a framework for their story so that it's not just like this happened, then this happened, then this happened.
Right.
As soon as you said that you use that the idea of the shoe, I'm like, oh, I love that so much. So can you explain how you used the shoe components for your structure?
Yes, absolutely. And on top of what you're saying, I didn't do this all by myself when it came, I mean, the framework and the structure, and I developed all of that myself. But when it
Mhm.
came to laying it out, I needed help. I needed the
Sure.
developmental editor. I needed
Yes.
people, tell me, help me get this to flow.
Yes.
Help me get rid of some of the stories that really don't go with this, things like
Yeah.
that. So, and
Yes.
a
So
coach to
great.
encourage me. So
Yeah.
it's
Amazing.
a team. It's a
It
team of
is
people that really help get it done.
100%.
So anyone that's trying to write something, don't feel like you have to do everything alone. In fact, you're not
Yeah.
meant to do it alone.
That's
So the
right.
framework, the way it came to me was after hearing those words, you're going to teach women to find their shoes for their journey. It dawned on me, I'm like, okay, the foundation of a shoe is a soul, and we have a soul, which is our foundation.
That's
So it's a
right.
play on all the words that we have. So the soul, okay, so I started with the soul, and then it just started coming to me, and I'm like, okay, the heel. The heel is behind us. The heel stands for healing because there are things we hold on to that we need to be able to learn to let go of that are holding us back. The heel can
Mhm.
hold you back. The
Yeah.
arch of the shoe, that was support. Oh my gosh, yes, I needed a support system to help me get to this point. So the arch represents the support and the support system, and it also reminds us that we need to set boundaries.
Mm, yeah.
Sometimes, we can have the support, but if there's no boundaries with others,
Yeah.
it kind of doesn't work as well. The
That's right.
toe was telling me that that's one step at a time forward. It's pointing in a forward direction, and it's using your intuition of knowing what's best for you one step at a time.
Mm,
Because it's a marathon. It's not we're taking our time,
yeah.
pacing ourselves. And
That's
then
right.
it went on from there with the tongue being our voice and knowing that we have a voice and that we need to learn how to speak our values and beliefs. Our voice is the one thing that really shows people who we are. just by what we say. And then we need to align our actions with our voice and our values and beliefs. Then the laces, I mean, sorry, I'm skipping the eyelets. The eyelets are next. And the eyelets help kind of, I was imagining, okay, that's eyes, and it's visualizing who you want to become. And so it's about setting goals, like visualizing who that person is that you really want to become, and then setting those small goals at first to reach the bigger ones. And then we get to the laces, and that ties everything together. And that brings the connection. The connection, we have creating a deeper connection with ourselves, and then also having that connection with others. It creates those stronger relationships with the people that mean the most to us. And then the last thing is the stitching of the shoe. And the stitching for me, one of the reasons I really decided to go through with this project and write the book and everything was because after losing my first husband, we had three children, and they were teenagers at the time. But it occurred to me as I went to the funeral, all the people that were there supporting him, I got kind of nervous. I like, who would support me and who would be there for me? Now I have lots of friends and family, but it was kind of that
Yeah.
awakening of like, what is my legacy?
Hmm.
He had a career in the sheriff's department, and he was a cyclist and all these things, and he had these things that he left behind, and I thought, what am I going to leave behind? I don't know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the stitching for me reminds me of the journey and the life story, which
Mhm.
becomes our legacy.
Yeah.
So we choose how to live that life so that we can leave the impact for our loved ones when we're gone. And so it just became a mission for me to create this program and write the book, mainly for my kids. And it also transformed me in the process, and I became
Mhm.
a better person and a better human,
Yeah.
and a better parent for them. So
Yeah.
um,
So
that's where it
great.
all came from that structure. And
Yeah.
I hope I didn't leave one out. I feel like I may have left one of the steps out, but I went in
Well,
order. So
if it comes to you, add it in. I know I'm at that stage where the brain fog is real, and all of a sudden I'll be like, oh, it's on the tip of my tongue, and then it's gone, and then I pull it back later. But I
uh-huh.
did love how you described um, that when you had that dream and what was happening in your life at the time, and the fact that there were so many changes, and a lot of women are going through those changes. And it is interesting. And I don't know if people have done studies on this. I'm sure they have. I have not, but I feel like there must be studies on perimenopausal and menopausal women who are experiencing a dramatic shift, not only within their own bodies, but also in their lives, and just feeling the necessity to have like meaningful lives. Like
Hmm.
there's a
Hmm.
stage in life where you're there. Like I do feel like there's responsibilities, and there's family, and there's maybe children or parents or whatever circumstances you happen to be in. But a lot of it's for women is outward focused for a long time. And then there's a
Yes,
stage where it becomes like, oh no, but we need to look inside, and we need
right.
to think about what gives us joy and what is necessary in our lives, so that everything was happening for you at a sort of a similar time, but you were
Yes.
also ready to receive that inspiration to do something about
Inspiration.
it,
Yeah.
right? Like, and it would be easy for us, I think, to feel like, oh, I have an idea, but the number of people who actually act on that idea, or say, okay, I'm going to see how this works. I'm going to work through this idea. And like you said, you didn't jump straight out of your career to this. It's a
Yeah.
gradual thing. But what did that look like for those few years before leading up to this book and this the workbook? What was that like? You were still working, you're kind of like dipping your toes
Yeah.
in.
Yeah, I was, that's such a great question because I do want your listeners and the women that are hearing this, that it was a process. It was a long
Mm.
process. And coming out on the other side, because this journey began around the time I turned 40. And when all
Mhm.
those things start changing, the awakening really didn't occur until I was almost 50. And that was because Michael had been, I said he was a cyclist and he was hit by a car
Yeah.
and tragically
Yeah.
didn't make it. And so that was not, we were not prepared for that.
No, no, not at
So, all these things happening at intervals in intervals. I
yeah.
also when we had divorced in our early 40s, and this happened if he was 45. And it was an amicable breakup. We
Yeah.
co-parented together. We really did everything for the kids, and we liked each other.
Yes.
We had just grown
Yes.
apart.
Yes.
So we made that decision for our lives. But I guess the point, what was going on was all this transformation within me. And I really want women to understand that menopause is a transition
Mm.
and it can transform you if you let it. And believe me, when you get to the other side, it's kind of like we're being reborn again.
Yes.
Our strength, all of our knowledge and wisdom that we've gained over the years, it all comes together, and we are the strongest we've ever been. I know it takes about 10 years, sometimes 10 years. I mean, we're in that perimenopause for about
Mhm.
10 years or like, I know it's different for everybody,
Right.
but
Mm.
mine was 10 years.
Yeah.
And when that ended, I just had something just came over me and I felt so much more secure about who I was. But I
Yeah.
had been working on a lot of that in
Yes.
those 10 years.
Yeah.
So it happened that way because of my circumstances. I was also healing from my childhood.
Right.
Um,
Mm.
I came from a large family and I was the oldest and the oldest daughter. I was the oldest granddaughter. So a lot of responsibilities were placed on me at an
Mm.
early age. My
Right.
parents divorced when I was 8,
Right.
and unfortunately, sadly, they never had the opportunity or never took the opportunity to discover why what they were traumatized by. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Right.
It can continue in that
Yes.
generational path. And that was one of the things when Michael passed, that's one of the things I thought about. I thought, you know what? I don't want to continue on. I'm noticing I'm doing some of the same things that my parents did, and I'm
Right.
emotionally fragile. And not just because of his accident, and menopause and all those things that cause
Yeah.
the emotions. It wasn't just because of that. It
Yeah.
was because I was emotionally immature,
Mm.
and I needed to learn how to handle things in a more mature
Right.
way. And all
Yeah.
of those things take time. They all
It
take
really
time.
does.
But the first step is being aware,
Yes. 100%.
acknowledging that.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
think that's the thing about wherever we are in our life, it's all informed by our childhood and what we experienced. And like
Mhm.
you say, if you just ignore it, you might be repeating some of those cycles. But once you acknowledge it, then you can start to, like you say, heal and move forward and transform. I think that's like such a beautiful message about how much time and the progress takes. Like it's like you just don't go like light bulb and like,
Right.
oh,
Okay, I'm different.
right. It's work. It's paying attention. It's being aware. It's being open. All of those things. It's
And
so
that's how the book really, so you asked me at the very beginning, how did the book come about? And that's how it came about
yeah,
because I was paying attention to those experiences I was going through because deep inside of me, I truly wanted to change.
yeah.
You said something about being unfulfilled, or we're looking for
Mhm.
meaningful life. We're looking for a meaningful life. And that is exactly what went in my head.
Yeah.
I was like, I want this life to be more meaningful. And not just for me, but for those
Hmm.
around me. I mean, if I'm always catering to them, sure,
Hmm.
that's easy for them, but are they getting any
Right.
meaning out of that?
Right.
Are they seeing
Yes.
the meaning in that? Or am I to a meaningful life?
Right.
And if I can't do it for myself, then I
Yeah.
can't help my kids either. And
Yeah.
it's never too late. That's the other thing. For a
Mm.
while I thought it was too late for me, or it was too late to make, I'd already done whatever damage I had done to my own kids. And I was don't get me, I
I
was
know
a
what
good
you mean.
mom. I did the best I could, but I was super emotional about things.
Hmm.
I think, my daughter was my first, and so she probably had responsibilities placed on her that she didn't
Right.
deserve
Right.
at that age. So I thought, is it too late? Well, let me tell you, it is never too late, because as I transformed through those 10 years into my 50s, my kids now write letters to me and cards and tell me how much I have changed and how much they've enjoyed watching me change and
Ah,
transform. And that it means so much to them that I would take those steps for them.
yes.
And
That is
so
so
it's never too
beautiful.
late. It's never too late.
Yeah.
And also it influenced my younger siblings too,
Mm,
to take
yeah.
the steps they should take.
Yeah.
So that's how the book came together. Just real quickly again, what I did was when I was sitting down, I was like, what are the things that I have done and changed in my life that would
Hmm.
help other women so that they don't have to do it for the extent of time that I
Right.
did. They
Yes.
can look and
Yes.
see, okay, these are the highlights of what she needed to
Yes.
um, transform and change. And
Yeah.
that's when the shoe came, and that's when everything kind of fell
Yeah.
together.
I love it. There's some ancient wisdom here, I think, that you have tapped into. And, we are in such a patriarchal society that
Yep.
I think women have been disappeared, in some ways,
Mhm.
um, in their older years. But in other societies or in other times, women were like, especially when elders were like revered because they carried the knowledge and the emotion and the empathy and all the things with them. And it feels like this is a real return to that, right?
Yes.
To really, like lean into how, like all your experiences have led to this point and
Mhm.
that, you've worked through them and now you can share with other people. Like it's one thing to do it for yourself, but then to say, I need, other people need this and I need to like, that's a very, female energy, I think that
I think so too.
spreading and nurturing and helping other people. If there was one um, moment in the book that might help somebody today, is there something that an example that you can share with us? They're all going to go out and get it for themselves and the workbook, but
I
maybe
hope
something that you
so.
could share.
I've had a lot of good feedback from. It's a short read. It's not a very long book. But you made such a good point about the feminine power and everything, and I feel very honored that I was given these words,
Yeah.
or that they came through me, in order to help other women. That it is an honor that we are as women have those capabilities and have those strengths, because that is
Yeah.
natural to us. And maybe
Yes.
some may not think, well, I don't have a lot of this or that. Well, if there probably is a place to tap into it if you want to.
That's
And
right.
but I still I just think that is the wisdom and the knowledge that we have when we're older. It just comes through.
Yeah.
And I love that about that, because we're all hoping for a matriarchal
Yeah.
shift.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I just want to make sure everyone understands, and I know you do, that a matriarch is not the inversion of a patriarch.
That's right.
They're two separate systems.
That's
One
right.
one operates out of domination
Yeah. Hmm.
and power, and who's
Yes.
on top, and the rest,
Yeah.
but the matriarchy is much more circular. I think it's
Yes.
all about everyone being able to use their gifts, men, women,
Mm,
children, everyone. Their
that's
gifts
right.
are contributing to the overall society, and
Mhm.
nobody is being forced under somebody else.
Yeah,
It's so, wouldn't that be, we'll just use our gifts and our
that's
strengths
right.
and to help each other.
Yeah,
I
I
just love
agree.
that. I love that. So the one thing in my book, I'm trying, because what I do is I tell stories about my life, and then I add the shoe step to that and how
Yes.
that correlates to my story and what I did to transform that
Mm,
part of me. Um, I think really what we were saying before is that it's just never too late.
yeah.
and life is just difficult.
Mm-hmm.
It's just hard at times, But having the knowledge of what are the things that set up our foundation and what builds that strong foundation so we can get through life without just completely falling apart. I think that, I mean, that's probably the biggest
Yeah.
lesson or in there, but I also always like to say that you were born to be seen.
Mm, beautiful.
And that came in a dream too.
Yeah.
Somebody spoke to me in a dream and she said to me, "Do you believe you were born to be seen?" And I
Mm.
was like, up and I thought, oh my gosh, yes, we need to believe that about ourselves. And it doesn't mean like up on the stage or anything like that.
Right.
We just
Right.
deserve to be seen for who we truly are.
Beautiful.
And so when we can build that confidence and self-esteem about who we truly are, we do that by really getting to know who we are.
Mhm.
And it starts with, basics, likes and dislikes.
Yeah.
What are your values? What are your beliefs? Because you may be believing and valuing things that you were taught to
Mm.
and not what you really
Yeah. Oh,
truly
I
believe.
love that. I love that. Thank you so much. Shamayne, where can people find you online?
I'm on Instagram and
Okay.
Facebook at Shamayne Olivia. I'm also on LinkedIn, and fithersoul.com is my website.
Oh,
And
wonderful.
yeah, I think is that everything?
We'll put it in the show
I
notes for
think
you.
you'll
Thank you
find me
so
somewhere, but
much.
shoes that fit her
Yeah.
soul is the
Shoes
is
that fit her soul. That's where we need to go and we'll find you. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed chatting with you and learning about this book and this workbook. I hope people look for it. I think it's powerful and inspiring, and I appreciate you sharing your wisdom with
well,
us
thank
today.
you. Thank you so much. The pleasure was all mine. And also it is on Amazon. I
Oh,
didn't I
yeah.
didn't mention that. So
Perfect. Yes.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
Enjoy your rest of your day.
Thank you.
I believe writers need Sisu, strength, courage, and determination to get their projects done, and I can help you access your Sisu. Are you working on a novel or memoir? You don't have to do it alone. Join us in the Women Writing Circle. We meet bi-weekly for 90 minutes to get pages done. Or consider applying for an upcoming group book coaching program to develop the foundational elements of your story in a supportive community. These 8-week-long programs include weekly coaching calls, goal setting, craft discussion, and personalized feedback on writing tasks. If you'd prefer to work one-on-one, contact me about one of my coaching packages at lisakovalea.bookcoach.com. Thanks for taking time out of your schedule to have a coffee break with us at Women Writing. Don't forget to subscribe to Women Writing on Substack. If you like this episode, share it with someone who needs a writing break and a little inspiration. Happy writing! Thank you to Michael Jensen for his original music and editing, and to Mia Jensen for the logo design.